本频道要帮助你形成对英语的本能反应。第一，要用大家熟悉的材料；第二，要确保使用的单词和句型并不复杂，让大家学得会，而且用得出来。欢迎加入母语学习法，我们开始吧。
There was a man named Leon. Leon was very quiet and also very good at his job. His job was to clean some things. Not cleaning a messy room, but a different kind of cleaning. He was what people sometimes called a hitman. He was sent to make bad people go away for good. He was the very best at it. He could move like a shadow, and he never missed. Leon's apartment was very small and very simple. He liked it that way. There's a bed, a chair, and a little table. Everything was neat and in its place. He did not like a mess. He didn't have many things. His very best friend was a plant. It was a green plant in a pot, and Leon took wonderful care of it. He watered it every single day and gently wiped its leaves clean with a cloth. It's just like me, he would think sometimes, looking at the plant. It has no roots and it doesn't ask silly questions. It just is. Leon also drank a lot of milk, at least 2 cartons a day. He said it was good for him, kept him strong. He lived by simple rules, rules for his work, and rules for his quiet, solitary life. He always slept sitting up in a chair with his guns beside him and one eye open. That was one of his rules. Next door to Leon, in the same tall building, lived a girl named Matilda. Matilda was 12 years old, but sometimes she seemed much older, and other times just like a little kid. Her life was not happy at all. Her father was a mean, loud man who was mixed up in bad things with drugs. He often yelled at Matilda and sometimes hit her, leaving bruises on her skin that she tried to hide. Her stepmother didn't care about Matilda one bit. She mostly just watched TV and complained. Matilda's older half-sister was just as mean as her father, always looking down on Matilda and saying nasty things. The only person Matilda loved in her whole messed up family was her little 4-year-old brother. He was sweet and small, with big, innocent eyes, and she tried her best to protect him from the bad things in their home. She would tell him stories and share her secret candy with him. Matilda often felt very sad and so alone, like no one in the whole world cared about her, except for her little brother. She would sometimes hide in the hallway of the apartment building, sitting on the worn-out carpet on the stairs, smoking a cigarette she had found and wished she could be anywhere else but home. She dreamed of a better place. One day, Leon was coming home from a job, carrying his bag of tools and his carton of milk. He saw Matilda in the hallway with a fresh bruise on her cheek and a sad look in her eyes. He didn't say much, just looked at her for a moment and then went into his apartment. He didn't like to get involved with other people's problems. But soon, something truly terrible happened. A very bad man named Stansfield came to Matilda's apartment. Stansfield was a policeman, but he was not a good policeman. He was crooked and very mean, and he took drugs that made him act crazy and wild. He liked to hurt people, and you could see it in his eyes. He and his men were looking for some drugs Matilda's father had hidden from them. When Matilda's father couldn't give them what they wanted, Stansfield got very, very angry. He started to play some loud music on his little player, and then he and his men hurt everyone in Matilda's family. They hurt her father, her stepmother, her sister, and even her sweet little brother. It was a very bad, very loud, and very scary thing. Matilda was out getting groceries when all this happened. She had also picked up milk for Leon, like she sometimes did to be helpful. When she came back to her floor, she saw that something was terribly, terribly wrong. The door to her apartment was open, and she heard strange noises. She saw men with guns. She knew with a cold, sick feeling deep in her heart that her family was gone. She was so scared, her legs felt like jelly, but she tried to be brave. She knew if they saw her, they would hurt her too. Instead of going to her own door, she walked right past it, her heart pounding like a drum, all the way to Leon's door, and she rang his bell, her finger trembling. Leon looked through his peephole. He saw little Matilda, her face white with pure fear, her eyes big and wet with tears that hadn't fallen yet. He saw the blood on the floor near her family's apartment. He didn't usually open his door to anyone unexpected, especially not a child. His rules said it was dangerous. He was a cleaner, not a helper of little girls. He felt a knot in his stomach, but he saw the terrible fear in her, and he saw one of Stansfield's bad men starting to look her way from down the hall. "Please," Matilda whispered, her voice so small and shaky he could barely hear it. "Please open the door. Please." Leon hesitated. It was a long, long moment. He thought about his rules. He thought about his quiet life. Then he looked at her small, scared face again. Just as one of Stansfield's men shouted something and started to walk towards her, Leon quickly opened his door and pulled Matilda inside, into the quiet, safe dark of his apartment. He saved her life. Matilda soon found out what Leon did for a living. She saw his big, locked case of special tools and many different guns. She wasn't scared of him, though. How could she be after what she had just seen? She had just lost everything and everyone she knew except herself. All she felt inside was a big burning anger and a deep aching sadness for her little brother. She wanted Stansfield, the man who took him from her, to pay for what he did. "I want to learn how to clean," she told Leon one day, her voice surprisingly firm for a little girl. "Like you. Teach me. If you teach me, I'll do anything for you. I can clean your apartment, buy your groceries. I can do your laundry. Anything." She even offered to teach him how to read better because she noticed he stumbled over words in the newspaper. Leon did not want to teach a little girl how to be a killer. It was against all his rules. No women, no kids. That was a rule for his targets. And it also meant he didn't get close to them in his life. But Matilda was stubborn, so stubborn. And she had absolutely nowhere else to go in the whole wide world. And maybe, just maybe, Leon was so very tired of being all alone with just his plant for a friend. So after thinking for a long time, he said yes, a very quiet yes. Leon started to teach Matilda. He showed her how to hold different kinds of guns, how to stand, how to aim. They would go up on the roof of their building, and she would practice aiming at things far away in the park, but only with a special gun that shot paintballs, not real bullets. "Never hurt someone who doesn't deserve it," Leon would tell her, his voice serious. He taught her rules of his job. Always look through the peephole first. Never get too close to the target if you don't absolutely have to. Always keep your distance. He even took her on a few very small, very safe jobs where she could watch from far away. He was always very careful to keep her safe from any real danger. Matilda learned fast. She was smart and listened carefully. She also started to take care of Leon in her own way. She cleaned his small apartment until it sparkled, even though he said he liked it fine before. She made sure he ate real food, not just milk all the time, and slowly, patiently, she taught him his letters, then how to read simple words, and then whole sentences. Leon, who had never been to school, started to enjoy learning. They started to become like a strange little family, this quiet man and this sad little girl. Matilda would make Leon laugh sometimes with silly games. She would dress up in funny clothes and pretend to be famous singers or movie stars dancing around the room. Léon had never laughed much before in his whole life. He started to care for Matilda a very lot. He felt like he wanted to protect her from all the bad things in the world, like a father would. Matilda started to love Léon too. He was the only person who had ever been truly kind to her. The only one who made her feel safe and almost happy again. Léon had a boss, an older man named Tony, who ran a little restaurant. Tony was the one who gave Léon his jobs and who kept all of Léon's money for him in a special account. Léon had saved a lot of money over the many years he had been working. He took Matilda to see Tony one day. Tony was very surprised to see Léon with a little girl. He puffed on his cigar and looked worried. He told Léon that having a kid around was dangerous for someone in his line of work, that it would bring big trouble. Léon knew it was true, but he couldn't and wouldn't send Matilda away. She was part of his life now. Matilda never, ever forgot about Stansfield and what he did to her little brother. The anger was still like a hot fire inside her. She wanted revenge more than anything. One day, when Léon was out on a longer job, she decided she couldn't wait anymore. She took some of his guns, put them in a shopping bag, and went by herself to the big police building where Stansfield worked. She pretended to be delivering food. She found him in the men's room. She pulled out her gun and pointed it at him. "I'm here for my little brother," she said, her voice shaking a little, but trying to be strong and cold like she thought Léon would be. But Stansfield was quick and very tricky, and he was used to danger. He turned the tables on her, took her gun, and started to scare her, enjoying her fear. Just when it looked like Matilda was in terrible, terrible danger, Léon burst in. He had found a note she had left for him, saying what she was going to do. There was a big, loud fight with lots of shouting and shooting, and Léon, with his amazing skills, got Matilda out of there safely. But now Stansfield knew all about Léon, the cleaner who lived next door, and he was absolutely furious. Stansfield found out where Léon and Matilda lived. He sent hundreds and hundreds of policemen to their building, special police with big guns and armor. They surrounded the apartment building, blocking all the streets. Boom, boom, bang! The police started to break down the door to Léon's apartment. Léon knew this was very, very bad trouble, the worst he had ever been in. He told Matilda to stay calm. He started to fight back to give Matilda time to escape. He was amazing, like a cornered lion, using all his skills to make the bad policemen pay for every step they took into his home. He knew he had to get Matilda out, no matter what. He found a small hole in the wall, an old air vent, hidden behind a picture. "You can go through here," he told her, his voice urgent but calm. "It will take you outside, down to the street. Go straight to Tony. He has all my money for you. It's yours now. Live your life, Matilda." Matilda didn't want to leave him. Tears were streaming down her face, making clean paths through the dust and smoke. "No, Léon, I don't want to lose you. I can't." Léon's face was soft, softer than she had ever seen it. He gently wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. "You're not going to lose me, Matilda," he said, his voice so gentle it almost broke her heart. "You've given me a taste for life. You made me feel happy. I want to sleep in a bed, have roots. You will be okay. You are strong. Now go, please." He looked deep into her eyes. "I love you, Matilda." "I love you too, Léon," she sobbed, her small body shaking. He pushed her gently towards the hole. "Go! Now! And don't look back!" Matilda cried, but she did what he said. She crawled through the dark, dusty vent and got away. Leon kept fighting. He got hurt very badly. He tried to escape by pretending to be one of the hurt policemen, putting on a gas mask and a helmet. He was almost out, almost free, stumbling through the smoky hallway when he saw Stansfield waiting by the door, a cruel look on his face. Stansfield saw him too, saw through his disguise, and shot him in the back. Leon fell heavily to the ground. He knew he was dying. Stansfield walked over to him, a nasty, triumphant smile on his face, ready to enjoy his victory. Leon looked up at him, his eyes still surprisingly clear. "Stansfield," he whispered, his voice weak. "What is it, you piece of—" Stansfield leaned closer, wanting to hear his last words. "This is from Matilda," Leon said. He opened his hand and pressed something small and cold into Stansfield's hand. Stansfield looked down. It was a pin from a grenade. His eyes shot to Leon's open jacket. Leon had many grenades strapped to his chest, a whole belt of them. Stansfield's eyes went wide with pure, sudden terror. Then there was a giant flash of bright yellow light and a huge, deafening noise that shook the whole building. And Leon and the very bad man Stansfield were both gone forever. Matilda went to Tony's restaurant, just like Leon told her. Tony was very sad when he heard about Leon. He said he would take good care of Leon's money for her and give her some each month, enough to live on. He told her she should go back to school, try to have a normal life. So Matilda went to a school for girls, a quiet place with green grass and big old trees, far away from the noise of the city. She had Leon's plant with her, the one he had loved so much, his best friend. She walked out onto the school lawn under the warm sun and found a good spot near a big tree. With her own hands, she dug a hole in the soft, dark earth. She carefully took the plant out of its worn-out pot and placed its roots gently into the ground. She patted the dirt around its new home. "I think we'll be okay here, Leon," she whispered to the plant, a small, sad smile on her face. Now, at last, it had roots. And maybe, just maybe, Matilda did too.
作为一个母语非英语的人，能把故事听完，你的进步太大了。感谢你收看这个节目。如果你觉得这个节目对你有帮助、有启发，请给我一个点赞或者留下评论，这对我很重要。这里是像学母语一样学英语频道，我们下个视频见。